once again, and it goes to Chris Carter, but I think that might have been intended for Jackson. They were right on a line, and Carter comes down with the football. 19-yard pickup.
Well, the fake in the backfield initially freezes everyone in a blue jersey. And then once he's to the outside, let's take a look at Randall Cunningham. He's so dangerous when he's on the move. Now, it's really unusual to see a guy working underneath the way Keith Jackson worked right there. You really have to think, though, looking at it, though he intended to throw it to Chris Carter, but Keith Jackson almost got in where he wasn't welcome. Wouldn't that have been something if he would have batted the ball away when Chris Carter was open?
Deepest penetration for either team thus far in the evening. The Giants leading 3-0. First and 10. Cunningham rolls left. Awkward position, but he is a very gifted athlete. Spins around and fires it once again to Jackson. Flag is down. That's the line of scrimmage. And illegal motion, I do believe. And now Jackson is not slow getting up.
Eager to get up. He's a little walking gingerly on one of his legs.
Again, flag down.
Motion, number 80, first down.
And Chris Carter illegally in motion for the Eagles. They'll be backed up 5. It'll be second down and 15.
The way the Eagles are completing passes, I would go in the reverse of the old axiom, use your running game to set up the pass. If I'm the Eagles, I would use my passing game to set up the run.
Good blitz down for the Giants. They'd like to back the Eagles up a little further, and Cunningham sees he's running out of time on the clock, and he calls timeout. 3-0, the Giants lead. We're in the second quarter from Philadelphia. We'll be back in just a moment. The Giants' first playoff game of the 80s was played here in Philadelphia at the 1981 Wild Card playoff. Scott Bruna, the quarterback, finds Leon Bright a first quarter touchdown. New York defeating Philadelphia 27-21. The Giants would go on to lose in the playoffs to Super Bowl champion San Francisco, who would defeat Cincinnati. Season 1981. Things had started to turn around. George Young came in 1979. Parcells is now in his 6th year. Meanwhile, back live action. Philadelphia with the first down and 15 at the Giants' 23-yard line. Into the arms of Carter. Good concentration on the part of Carter. 17-yard pickup. And
timing pattern all the way.
He paid for it.
Same sort of pattern we saw last week. New Orleans run at the end of their ball game to set up their winning field goal. 2 steps. Carter almost mistimed his leap. He went up a little early and somehow was able to stay up off the ground working against Kenny Hill. But talk about touch on a football. I think you're seeing Randall Cunningham developing into the kind of quarterback that can do it all. This guy has no weaknesses in his ball game.
He's 9 of 11 for 95 yards. 6 in a row now. First down, goal to go, Philadelphia. Fires. It's inside the 5-yard line, close to the 3-yard line. That'll be second down, goal to go. Fires, big, strong, number 1 draft pick a couple of years ago out of Ohio State, troubled by a broken foot in his first 2 years, but now is rapidly developing into the type of football player that Buddy Ryan thought he would.
Well, Buddy Ryan took a chance drafting Keith Byers #1 because he had the broken foot his senior year at Ohio State. And then when he got here to Philadelphia, he suffered exactly the same injury again.
Cunningham's just able to get the ball off to Tony before he's dropped, and Tony is hit at the line of scrimmage. That's it. It's third down, goal to go. Carson, tough in the middle.
Well, if it's not one thing or another, Cunningham's had trouble making handoffs. He's been running it into his own people in the backfield, and then his ball carriers, once they get the ball, aren't getting anywhere. Frank, I'm back to what I've been saying before. I'd throw the ball every time if I'm Philadelphia tonight.
And what you do when you have a quarterback like Randall Cunningham, you let him roll out. You give him an option. He's a great runner. Give him an option to either throw or run the football. Third down, goal to go. Look at that agility. Something special right there. Jimmy Giles, the receiver. Cunningham, by all rights, hit by Carl Banks. And he should have been down. He maintained his balance. We talked about his athleticism, and he fires in the corner. Beautifully executed rollout.
Ladies and gentlemen, Randall Cunningham is a ready for prime time player. This guy has not been seen by many national audiences before, but I think you're starting to get the drift as to what kind of football player plays here in Philadelphia. Randall Cunningham, that is a big-time play.
Luis Zendejas on to the conversion, and the Eagles have taken the lead. 9:36 remaining in the first half as Randall Cunningham comes out on the rollout. Play action, holding some linebackers. They, of course, are anticipating this. All-Pro Carl Banks, the perfect tackle, drills his head through Cunningham. He maintains his balance, fires it to Giles. A spectacular play. We're glad you saw it. Randall Cunningham, and you just saw something very special. We'll have another opportunity to look at it following the kickoff. We wonder if Randall might be pulling his big brother Sam. Yeah, how'd you like that, Sam?
How about that?
Sam Cunningham.
How about the 10 to 12? Sam Bam will like that.
Zendejas puts it up and deep into the end zone. Bobble in the end zone and covered quickly by Collins. Another look at a very special play.
Let's watch Carl Banks. Let's ISO the all-pro linebacker. And if Bill Parcells is watching this from the sidelines, he's saying, I'm in the perfect defense. Banks has got contained. Cunningham's rolling right to him. That's it, folks. It's all over. What? Look at him bounce back, stay on his feet, and throw a touchdown. And if you think you can't believe it, how about Carl Banks? Tough to play it any better. You can say he should have wrapped him up. Nobody is going to make the tackle on Randall Cunningham on that play. Banks played it as good as he could.
Eagles lead the Giants 7-3. First and 10 Giants to their 20-yard line. Morris. The Eagles now fired up. Loss of a yard, and Mike Golick was there first for the Eagles.
A note, by the way, on that touchdown catch by Jimmy Giles. That was his first catch of the year. And the Giants remember Jimmy Giles. Last year he sent the Giant game into overtime with a 40-yard touchdown catch in the last minute. So right now, the Eagle passing game, something the Giants can't seem to decipher.
That's the time remaining in the first half. The Giants, second down and 11. Sends Bavaro. And again, Bavaro left free to roam off the line of scrimmage with a linebacker, Dwayne Giles, and he's wide open and gets the first down out close to the 40, a 21-yard pickup. Sims has an option to go outside on that, but he reads the coverage. If he gets Bavaro locked up with the linebacker, he's going to go with him. Coming free off the line of scrimmage, here he is. Giles way out of the picture, makes a stop, but not until Bavaro takes it out to the 40-yard line. Bavaro playing back now to his Pro Bowl form. He was a late reporter for the Giants. Came in 10 days before the start of the season. He has been slow getting it together. First and 10 Giants near their own 40-yard line. Strip of the ball. Phil Sims, and again, guess who? 92.
Reggie White that time beats Doug Riesenberg around the corner. Watch this. Riesenberg playing right tackle. Just can't keep Reggie from getting around and collapsing the corner. And that's Phil Sims didn't even have a very deep drop on that one. Knocks the ball out of his hands and then gets back in and gets a little hit just to add a little insult to injury. What an extraordinary football player.
They were trying to help with Damian Johnson, the inside guard, but Reggie White so quick, got around the block and strips the ball from Phil Sims. Now it's second down and 17. Morris. Guess who?
Yeah.
He's having a night. He beats Bavaro this time. And Bavaro, one of the finer, if not one of the best blocking tight ends around the league.
This is getting redundant, but there's Reggie White. The guy plays everywhere, this time all the way around to the outside. Now, hey, a guy 6'5", 300 pounds isn't supposed to be able to go outside the tight end and come all the way back in and make a play off right guard.
He's so good you can't even hold him.
Yeah, it's not natural, folks. It's not right.
Third and 17. Now the crowd begins to get into it.
Yeah.
Sims with the time. Bavaro comes right back with the clutch catch out to the 45-yard line, but he's short of the first down. Gain of 12.
I guess Reggie White going to come over to the sidelines on this 4th down situation. You know, there are other things you can do rather than get the sack. Watch Reggie White come all the way from the outside. Look at him get underneath Riesenberg, drive him all the way over backwards, and get in there and pressure Sims.
The punt by Buford. Handled there by Konechny.
You're going to see players for the Giants start calling timeout on the offensive line when they see number 92 lined up across them.
Eagles get the football back. They'll have a 1st and 10 at their own 17-yard line when we come back. Crowd, a noisy crowd here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia on a beautiful night for football. Very busy little blimp hovering high overhead. They were in New York today for the Mets-Dodgers game, and the Enterprise is now with us once again. 1st and 10, the Eagles. Byers comes down with the football close to the 23-yard line. Mark Collins defensively there for the Giants.
Talking to Randall Cunningham before the game, and he was talking about their 32 unanswered points last week against Houston, and he said it really was because how effective we were passing the football. It wasn't until after 20 or 30 plays of throwing the ball well that our running game really started to click in, and I think that's exactly what they're doing now against New York, being successful with the pass.
2nd down and 6. Cunningham slipped as he dropped. Was able to hand the ball off to Tony. And Tony gets up close to the 25-yard line, a gain of a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 3, but Cunningham, in his appearances against the Giants, has not been able to move the ball very well. He has passed for about 45%. They have been his toughest opponent, but he has 9 in a row at the moment, 11 of 13 for 103 yards, and he's solved the problem at least thus far tonight.
But he's having trouble handing the ball off. I don't understand what's going on in the Eagle backfield. That's the 3rd time Cunningham's fallen down attempting a handoff.
3rd down and 3 from the shotgun. Cunningham tried to squeeze it into Byers, and he was well covered. Pepper Johnson was there. Harry Carson.
I think it's Carson's hit that's really going to jar the ball loose, and that's a completion and a 1st down all the way. If it isn't for Harry Carson, timing is hit on Byers just perfectly.
Telchik to punt. Had 3 punts blocked this year, 2 last week. 1 led to a safety and 1 led to a touchdown. They put the thrill back in the punting game. Not a good kick by Telchik. McConkey steps up to the 43-yard line. And we'll have good field position for the Giants at the 46-yard line. Reggie White. You're watching quite a performance tonight, but he talked about his most memorable moment in football.
My most memorable moment is when I took the ball from Doug Williams and ran for a touchdown. It was real exciting. When I got around the corner and hit Doug, I figured, hey, I got a sack. But when I realized that, hey, I got the ball too. So when I realized that, I was able to take it away from Doug and run it for about 70 yards. And that was probably the greatest moment of my career.
Reggie White is working on another one tonight. Phil Simms whips one out to Lionel Manuel on 1st down. Manuel short of the 1st down near the 45-yard line of the Eagles.
Thing to keep in mind with that 21 sacks you see there under Reggie White's name, that came in only 12 games last year. Reggie sat out the strike with the rest of his teammates. 21 sacks and only 12, 1 shy of the NFL record. Mark Gastineau had 22 back in 1984. Of course, that in a 16-game season.
On 2nd down and 1, Reggie White on the stop of Joe Morris, who twists and turns his way for a 1st down. And we'll see Mark Gastineau next Monday night against the Buffalo Bills. The Bills off on a 5-1 start behind quarterback Jim Kelly. Cornelius Bennett certainly has bolstered one of the finer defenses now in pro football. And the Jets, Kenny O'Brien and Wesley Walker have been hot early in the season. They're 3-1-1. 3-1-2 rather. And we'll watch them next Monday night. On 1st down. Simms. And Bavaro is open. He almost pulls loose and does get to the 18-yard line, 23-yard pickup, and Reggie White was into it again.
Well, Phil Simms never saw the complete